The 10 planetary bodies of our solar system each have their own unique personality, an energy that they represent. And as they travel through the sky, their personality comes through in various ways depending on which sign they're traveling through. In this video, we will discover the meaning of each planet and their aspects and how to interpret them in your natal chart. Welcome to Miss Lisa Astrology. I'm your host, Lisa Madalena, and I help seekers discover their true potential through the study of astrology. Your astrological birth chart is a snapshot of the sky at the exact time of your birth. Your chart will show you where the planets were situated in the sky when you were born and in which zodiac sign it was traveling through. Before we move on, I do want to clarify that even though the moon is a satellite of Earth and the sun is a star, for astrological purposes, we will consider these as planets. And this is because for thousands of years, our ancestors were studying and watching the sky through their naked eye. They didn't have the technology that we have today. And the energies that these planetary bodies represent still remain the same today. The position of the planets in your specific natal chart reveal a significant amount of information about how you see and experience the world in your life. It will reveal your habits, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Every planet rules over a part of you, and it's expressed differently according to the sign that it is in at the time of your birth. Each one governs a certain area of your personality and your approach to life. So let's briefly go through all of the planetary bodies and explain each one and their energies. We'll start off with the sun. The sun is all about our basic personality, our outward, how we are out in the world, our self-awareness, and our preferences. It rules the sign of Leo, and it takes approximately 1 month to transit through a zodiac sign. Next, we have the moon. The moon rules our emotional inner life. It represents everything or anything beneath the surface. This planetary body rules the sign of Cancer, and it is the fastest moving celestial body in our solar system. So it only takes about 2.5 days to travel through each sign. Next, we have Mercury. He is one of the smallest planets in our solar system, and he is named after the Roman messenger of the gods. So he symbolizes communication, rational thinking, and logic. Mercury governs both Gemini and Virgo. Each sign represents a different side of Mercury's expression. And so Gemini is all about the output, and Virgo is more of the input. Mercury takes about 13 to 14 days to transit through a zodiac sign, and he goes retrograde 3 or 4 times a year. Next up, we have Mars. Mars represents your physical energy, your aggression. He is named after the Roman god of war. And so he does actually symbolize action, determination, and aggression. He's a literal fire under our ass, fueling our action and our movement towards our goals. He also represents our passion in life. He rules the fiery sign of Aries, who's very impulsive, and he takes about 6 to 7 weeks to transit a sign, only going retrograde about every 2 years. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and money. Named after the enchanting Roman goddess, she rules over your capacity to express affection and enjoy beauty. Finding out where Venus is in your chart, you'll be able to see what kind of lovers you attract, what type of lover you are, if you find happiness and enjoyment in love, and also where your creative talents lie. Both earth sign Taurus and air sign Libra are ruled by Venus, and each represents a different expression of the planet. Taurus is more physical in the material plane, and Libra is more of a cerebral energy. Venus takes approximately 4 to 5 weeks to transit a zodiac sign and goes retrograde every 18 months. Next up, we have Saturn. Saturn is associated with time, discipline, structures, and restrictions. He symbolizes the hard work that we put in to reach our goals, our personal achievements, and resilience. Saturn, being the planet of responsibility, will show you how you take on responsibility in your life? Are you able to complete a task through to the end? Do you constantly see obstacles in your life? Saturn governs the sign of Capricorn, which is the ambitious earth sign, and he takes approximately 2.5 years to transit each sign. He goes retrograde every year for about 140 days. And so during this 2.5 year transit through whatever sign he's transiting through, he's going to show you where you need to put the hard work and discipline in order to reach something that is going to be sustainable and long lasting. Jupiter, being the largest planet of our solar system, is known as the Great Benefic in a traditional astrology. He governs luck, expansion, and spirituality. He encourages us to broaden our horizons through philosophy, spirituality, and education. Jupiter governs the sign of Sagittarius, which is an adventurous fire sign, and he takes approximately 12 to 13 months to transit every sign and goes retrograde every year for around 120 days. As Jupiter is the sign of good luck and generosity and success, this will be the area of life that he brings these things to you, dependent on which sign and house that he governs in your chart. Next up, we have Uranus, the planet of shock and surprise. He symbolizes technology, rebellion, innovation, anything forward thinking. Uranus governs the sign of Aquarius, which is a free thinking air sign, and takes approximately 7 years to transit each sign and goes retrograde every year for around 150 days. Uranus normally brings about sudden changes in your life. It can bring events and opportunities to you that you weren't really planning for. It awakens, shocks, and revolutionizes the area of life that he's transiting. Anybody who has a strong Uranus presence in their chart is going to be that forward-thinking, revolutionary spirit. Someone who loves science and is an inventive thinker. Neptune is the planet of the magical and mysterious unknown. Neptune's power is that of the imagination. He represents your dream life and mystic qualities. Our intuition. He can also be extremely creative and psychic. Planet Neptune governs the sign of Pisces, which is the intuitive and imaginative water sign. It takes approximately 14 years to transit each sign and goes retrograde every single year for 150 days. With Neptune's influence in your life, you are going to know exactly how psychic you are, and what your dream life will be, how creative and imaginative you would be, depending, of course, where he was transiting at the time of your birth. Neptune has a very strong generational influence since he does travel through one sign in 14 years. And so there will be a whole generation of people with the exact same Neptunian energies. Next up, we have Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth. He is all about regeneration and transformation. He is the phoenix rising up from the ashes. He symbolizes power, sex, death, and transformation. Taxes, inheritances, astrology, and the occult. And he's named after the Roman god of the underworld. He's associated with Scorpio, the elusive water sign, and he takes approximately 14 to 30 days to transit each sign and goes retrograde every year for 185 days. Again, Pluto is another generational planet where there will be a large amount of people in each generation and decades of people that have the exact same Pluto energy playing out in their lifetime. The planets are all split up into the natal or inner planets, the social, and the generational or the outer planets. The natal planets, also known as the personal planets, zip around the sky a lot quicker, and so they vary the most in each person's chart. These are the Sun, the Moon, Venus, and Mars, as well as Mercury, and they determine the relationships that we have with ourselves as well as with others. They represent our self-understanding, our personal desires, our communication styles, and interpersonal relationships as well as our emotions. The social planets, Jupiter and Saturn, bridge the gap between the inner and the outer planets. They represent our routines, our patterns, certain structures in our lives, philosophy, opportunities, and our belief systems. Outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are also considered the generational planets, and they have a much slower orbit, and so they affect larger groups of people or generations. Now, the energies of the planets can transform based on the aspects that they're making to each other as they transit the sky. And this is based solely on how many degrees they are apart in the chart. I will briefly go through the 7 major alignments or aspects. There are many other ones, but I'll just go through the ones that are most popular that you will hear the most about. And so conjunction is when the 2 planets in the same degree are in the same sign and they're literally sitting next to each other. And this creates a amplification of their energies. Their energies blend together and amplify. A sextile is when two planets are 60 degrees away from each other, and this is a positive aspect. It brings opportunities, but unlike a trine, you literally have to work towards the opportunity in order to manifest it or make it successful in your life. A trine is when the planets are 120 degrees away from each other and they literally create a triangle in your chart. This is the most beneficial aspect. It brings ease and advantage in that area of your life. Next up, we have a square, and this is when 2 planets are 90 degrees apart from each other. Now, this is a tense aspect. It's challenging and can be stressful, but it's beneficial for us in that it teaches us lessons and it pushes us to put in the work in order to achieve our goals. It helps you develop your drive and your strength so that you can overcome difficulties in your life. Oppositions and quincunx are when planets are opposite of each other, and so they are literally pulling you in opposite directions. And this is creating the need for us to check in with our priorities and set some boundaries as needed. So what does it mean when a planet is in a sign? When a planet is transiting a sign, it brings a certain energy that is going to blend with the qualities of the sign that it's in. Some are going to be more compatible than others. For example, Mercury in Aries is going to make your communication a little more aggressive and impatient, whereas Venus in Leo was going to increase your confidence and make you more assertive. Take a look at my other videos on the houses and the signs of the zodiac, so that way you can tie all of this together in order to interpret the specific energetic alignments in your chart. Following and understanding the current planetary alignments provides us with a useful guide to our day-to-day lives. As the planets move through the sky, they shift focus to different areas of our lives for us. Taking note of where the planets are in your personal chart and in the sky on a regular basis allows you to make sense of events and emotions you and other people around you are experiencing. It's a powerful tool to help allocate your energy, your physical and your mental resources at any given time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.